what I was saying before, uh, and now we have a nice hold on the surface so it doesn't shake around, which is this great easel given to me by my teacher who wishes to remain anonymous. But anonymous or not, gave me this beautiful easel, which it's functional, and that's all it needs to be. And I functioned for years without an easel. I functioned for years uh, using the most just like just in poverty, using whatever supplies were I could possibly get, and it wasn't this. By some grace of the higher universe, uh, God, nature, however you believe, I have been given the opportunity to live and work in New York and start using some nicer supplies in my later stages of life, which is perfectly wonderful. Uh, I'll be, I don't want to talk about my personal age and business, but it's been a long, strange trip already. I used to say that. I told, not that I'm a Grateful Dead fan. I'm not actually, but I don't hate them. It's just not one of my favorites. But there was I had an art educator at the UNCG uh, who he was teaching the philosophy of modern art, and he was big on Marionetti and the futurists and this kind of thing. And so I said that to him once when I went into his office to discuss my standing in the class, which was art history, but it was like recent art history. He would talk about uh, Malevich. I believe it's pronounced Malevich in the Black Triangle, and it was all this conceptual futurist stuff. That the thing is, art history is nothing more. It can be no better than any other kind of history. In fact, it's not even as good, but it can be as good. But that's only art history at its best. Meaning that at its best, art history can be an historical, and I say AN because you're supposed to say AN before the H. That's just traditional in our language, and people usually get that wrong, or sometimes they do. Art history is an historical reflection of the actual history of the culture that you're researching. And there's a lot of school of thought that says or discusses the possibility of Gardner's, for instance, Gardner's art history, the history of art through the ages. Very good, because you have to have a comprehensive exploration of art in Africa and Western and Southwestern and all parts of Asia, which a lot of times, we have a comprehensive history of Western art, Western civilization, art history, and don't forget the Taino and the beautiful cultures that lived and worked here in this country. It actually was a country before Columbus got here. Yes, it was. We tend in terms of the history we teach and learn, we tend to forget, and that's why I have a license. I got a license to teach social studies to elementary age students and also every other subject at Long Island University in New York, because I felt, and I still feel, that we have to understand every aspect of every culture that lived, lives, and always will live in this area of the world through the art that reflects what was going on in those cultures, and we forget that. So I'll use art to help teach social studies. You already know I use it to teach math, and I've touched upon science and English and language arts also. We'll see about more of those segments coming up, and everybody have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the weekend, April 26, 2025.